Hey, it's Blake Backstage, 102.3 Blake FM. I'm Drew, and we're on the tour bus with Aaron Watson, who's playing tonight at Denim and Diamonds. Good to have you back, man.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Well, you've been kind of a busy guy the last
decade.
Well, yes, but I'd say the last half a year since the new album came out.
Yeah, you know, it's been we've been blessed. I mean, to get to make music for a living is a blessing. I mean, it's a tough occupation to get into, and you know, God's really looked out for us, and he's blessed us with some of the best fans in the world. I always tell people we may not have the biggest fan base, but we've got the best.
But they're there.
They're there,
and definitely that showed when the album came out. I mean, you guys charted at what was it, number 9? Number 9
yeah.
On the
Billboard
all country.
Yeah, so. Billboard top 10 nationwide, and which, you know, that's huge for us because we're independent. And we don't have some, you know, big wig record label putting $1 million behind us. So, thank you.
Well, speaking of, you know, you guys being independent, you kind of do set your own time of what you're doing. And I know, you know, I follow you on Twitter. You're real active with your family. You don't put them on the back burner by any means, but still are out there touring constantly. How do you balance the time?
You know, I think that's probably a struggle for any dad, is balancing your job and your family. And I always tell people that my job is kind of like a fireman's. You know, 2 or 3 on, 2 or 3 off. But it's just keeping your priorities straight, and it's something that I have to work at. I mean, there are times when I can feel like, you know, it's kind of that snowball downhill effect. It's getting out of control, and I have to call a timeout. And I'm like, okay. And that's when I call the manager and the booking agent. I'm like, I'm getting wore out. I'm tired of being gone. You know, you guys know what I demand. You know, and it's like there's too many shows. You know, when I start feeling that I'm neglecting my family, I just completely shut down. And everybody that works for me knows that once I felt that, like I have that no compromise, this is what's fixing to happen. And because they are, you know, my number one job is being a dad and a husband, and I love country music, but at the end of the day, country music is not always at the end of the road. You know, when you think about all these legends, in the end, they're broke and they're lonely.
You don't want that at all.
I don't want that at all. And they devoted their whole life to country music, and that's because you got to have priorities. You got to invest. You got to invest in things that are real. Well,
speaking of your kids, are they fans of your music, or are they listening to something completely different?
They listen to everything, pretty much whatever their mama puts on. You know, she listens to a lot of praise and worship songs, which obviously I love that stuff. But they like listening to Daddy. Jack, my middle boy, yesterday after school brought me a star that he had made, and it said Rising Star on it. And he gave it to me, and he said, "Dad, you are my rock star." And I said, "Well, thanks, Jack." I said, "You're my rock star." He said, "No, I'm not a rock star." He said, "That's what you are." And I said, "Well, thanks, bud."
That's cool.
And that's all I care about. I mean, that's, you know, when I try to write music from the heart. I mean, my first single out was "Raise Your Bottle," and that's a song that I wrote for my dad. My second single is "Lips." I wrote that for my wife. You know, and it's like I'm already working on a new record that we're going to go record this summer. And really, I want all these songs to be songs about my family, my faith, my life. I mean, that's, you know, I enjoy singing songs that are personal to me. I mean, that's my art. That's what I love. I'd rather have 100,000 fans that loved me for me than have 10 million fans that loved me for reasons that aren't me.
Well, your fans seem to be pretty loyal, and something that is pretty cool, you're very active on social media.
Yeah.
I mean, you're on Twitter all the time, Instagram.
Yeah.
So I posted a question on our Facebook and said, hey, I'm going to be talking to Aaron Watson. what questions should I ask?
Yeah.
And so I have 3 questions from people out there in the interwebs.
Okay.
They want to know. One girl named Monica, she wanted to know, what do you think is the worst part about country music right now?
I don't know. You know, I hate addressing that issue because I don't want to knock anybody. But I think the problem with any type of commercial music is that you have guys, instead of thinking musically, they're thinking, well, so-and-so has this artist that sings these kind of songs, and if we come out with someone just like that, maybe then we can make that kind of money. Rather than finding these artists and grooming them over the years and developing their careers, they want overnight sensations and, you know, several labels, you know, they don't let an artist record a whole album. They make these guys go in there, these guys and girls go in there and they get to record like 1 or 2 songs, and then they put out that single, and if that single is successful,
then the album
they get to keep making music. If that single isn't successful, they're done. Which,
one of the nice things about being independent like you are, you're getting to do what you want to do.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, so I don't, as far as country music today.
Well, let's ask the inverse of that. What would you say is you know, the good thing about country music today?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not I'm not a real fan of anything going on right now because I don't feel that it's heartfelt. I mean, you've got all these songs and everything's a party anthem. I mean, give me something that's real. You know, country folks, we're more complex than just these party anthem, you know, bonfire in the middle of a field doing donuts in our jacked up trucks kind of songs, and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's song after song after song, and I'm just like, you know, I feel right now that country is missing a lot of heart and soul. I mean, it's been a long time since I've heard a song on the radio that hit me.
And that's where we get a lot of that with, you know, artists like you and other people on this red dirt circuit where they're putting out stuff that's real, right? We're trying.
I mean, it's you know, it's one of those deals. I mean, if the whole world was like Aaron Watson, it would be very boring. But at the same time, I'm passionate about my music. I'm passionate about my family. I'm passionate about country music. So, you know, I will tell you this, that the guys at the top of the charts that are having the most success, I don't believe those are the most talented individuals out there. I think they have talent. But those are the guys that are, I mean, are you writing your songs? Do you get to pick your songs? Or are you just a puppet on a string? And, you know, that's why I've always gravitated. My honky-tonk heroes are guys like Willie and Waylon, Merle Haggard. You gonna tell those guys what to sing? Absolutely not. Johnny Cash.
Somebody try, right?
Absolutely. And those are the kind of guys. I mean, when you hear some of the stuff going on today, do you really think that's music that people are gonna be listening to in
30, 40 years?
Is this timeless classics? And it's the same thing with movies. You know, I watched a movie the other day from the 60s. It was called Papillon, and it was with Steve McQueen, and it was about these guys that got thrown into this like French prison. There was no special effects. There was no, you know, sexy scenes. You know, there were no strippers. It was just great acting.
Good story.
And an incredible story.
Timeless.
These days, every movie I turn around, it's zombies or aliens.
Yeah.
And that's all we've got. And that's what we're being fed. We're being fed this trash. I mean, rather than watching wholesome TV, you know, we have people praising the Kardashians. I could care less. I watched for 5 minutes to see what all the rage was about, and I was like, these vain, spoiled brats. This is what we've been reduced to, and I think that's what's wrong with a lot of the Hollywood showbiz music side of things is that there's no morals, there's no foundation. You know, there's a lot of trash out there.
Well, that's why listen to more Aaron Watson.
That's right, and because I've got 3 kids.
It's got to feed those kids.
Gotta feed, and you know what? At the end of the day, that's people ask me what drives me, and it's feeding my kids.
All right, well, let's do one more question from Facebook.
Absolutely.
This one came from Andrew. This is we're gonna take it to a completely another side of this. Okay, if you had to get in a fist fight with either a duck that was the size of a horse or 100 horses that were the size of a duck, which would it be and why?
Okay, say that again.
Okay, so either
we've got a duck
that's the size of a horse, or 100 horses the size of ducks.
It would be 100 horses the size of ducks.
And why?
Because I would just start kicking them.
Coming at you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a big duck.
Yeah.
The size of a horse. That's scary. But a lot of little horses.
You can take them. That's 100 though. There's a lot of them.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Did you ever go to the park growing up and the ducks would nip at you?
Oh yeah, with the breadcrumbs. Yeah. Of course.
I'm taking on 100 horses. 100 small duck-like horses. Great question, by the way.
All right, well, it's Aaron Watson. He's played at Denim and Diamonds tonight. It's Blake Backstage. Thanks for checking it out.
Thanks, bro.